You've been hearing the word FinCEN floating around your real estate circles lately, and you're wondering what it means for your next deal? FinCEN stands for the Financial Crimes Enforcement Network, a bureau of the U.S. Treasury. Starting March 1st, new reporting rules are going to be taking effect for real estate closings. Now, I know you're probably thinking, look, this is just more government red tape, right? But let's look at the bright side, okay? This is actually designed to protect our local New Mexico market. By preventing illicit funds from artificially inflating property values, it ensures a fair, stable, and clean playing field for honest investors like you. Why the sudden change in real estate reporting? Well, it's simple. Transparency. See, for years, bad actors have used anonymous shell companies to hide illicit money in U.S. real estate. The government is finally stepping in to stop that by requiring beneficial ownership information, which is just a fancy way of asking, who actually owns this property? For legitimate investors, this is great news. It means you aren't competing against illegal money when you're making offers. It keeps the New Mexico real estate landscape healthy and thriving. If you're buying real estate in your own personal name, you can breathe a sigh of relief. These new FinCEN rules generally don't apply to you. The new rule specifically focuses on properties purchased by legal entities like LLCs, corporations, and trusts. It's also hyper-focused on all cash or non-finance transactions. If you're a traditional buyer using a bank loan, the bank already does this background check, so you're exempt, all right? The rule just brings cash entity buyers up to the same standard of transparency. March 1st is the magic date for these new FinCEN reporting rules in our real estate closings. Change can be uncomfortable. Look, I get it, especially when it involves the government. But I want you to think about this as a minor speed bump in the road to a safer investment environment. It's a one-time report filed after closing that simply identifies who's behind the LLC or trust buying the property. As your realtor, I'm here to make this transaction seamless and pain-free for you. If you buy New Mexico real estate using an LLC, you need to know about the new FinCEN rules taking effect March 1st. Because LLCs provide anonymity, the government now requires the reporting of beneficial owners for all cash purchases. A beneficial owner is simply anyone who owns at least 25% of the entity or exercises a substantial control over it. It's a quick background check to ensure clean money is entering into our communities. Don't worry about it. It's confidential. It's all secure. Using a trust for real estate planning or asset management, you're making smart moves. And starting March 1st, if your trust buys residential real estate without a traditional bank mortgage or it fails under the new FinCEN reporting rules. So you're going to need to provide some basic identifying information for the trustee, the grantor, and the beneficiaries who have significant control. It's just an extra layer of paperwork at closing to prove the trust is legitimate. As long as you prep early, it won't delay your closing one bit. Cash is king, but it's also getting a little more transparent. The new FinCEN real estate rules are specifically targeting non-financed all-cash transfers to entities and trusts. Why? Because traditional mortgages already require strict anti-money laundering checks. The government is just leveling the playing field to make sure cash buyers are held to the same standard. If you're a legitimate cash investor, this is a positive. It keeps our markets clean and fair. A lot of my investors use LLCs and trusts for privacy, so the new FinCEN reporting rule sounds intimidating. But here's the good news. The beneficial ownership information reported to FinCEN is not public record. It goes into a secure federal database. It's only accessible to authorized law enforcement and national security agencies. Any of your nosy neighbors are still not going to know what you're doing and what you own. You get to keep your public privacy while doing your part to keep illicit funds out of our local market. Who's actually responsible for doing the heavy lifting with the new FinCEN reporting on March 1st? You're going to be happy to hear it's not you. Unlike other corporate reports, the real estate rule assigns the reporting duty to the closing professionals. Typically, it's going to be your title agent, your settlement agent, or your escrow officer. They're going to collect the necessary information from you and file it electronically after we close. Your only job is to provide accurate information when you're asked. Pretty easy, right? To make sure your all-cash LLC or trust closing goes smoothly under the new FinCEN rules, you just need to bring the right info to the closing table. The title company will ask for the full legal names, dates of birth, current residential addresses, and a copy of government-issued ID like a driver's license or passport for all beneficial owners. LLC corporate and trust documents as well. So if you gather this early, the process is incredibly smooth and it's not going to delay your timeline. We've talked a lot about buyers, but what if you're selling a property to an LLC or a trust? The FinCEN report does require some basic identification about the seller, whether you're an individual or an entity. However, the deep dive into beneficial ownership is strictly for the purchasing side. As a seller, your process barely changes at all. So just cooperate with your title company and enjoy the proceeds of your sale. Did you know the FinCEN real estate report has a strict deadline? Once you close on that new investment property through your LLC or trust, the title company has 30 days, or by the last day of the following month, to file the report. Because of this deadline, title companies will be asking for your ID and entity documents before closing day. Proactive communication is the secret to a stress-free transaction. The most common question I'm getting right now from investors is, do I have to do this FinCEN reporting on every transaction? The answer is a resounding no. First, if you buy in your personal name, you're exempt. Second, if your LLC or trust buys a property using a mortgage from a regulated financial institution like a standard bank loan, you're also exempt. The rule primarily applies to non-financed cash purchases, including owner finance deals purchased by entities. The new FinCEN rule, taking effect March 1st, is called the Residential Real Estate Rule. So what exactly does it cover? It includes 1 to 4 family homes, condominiums, cooperatives, even unimproved land that is zoned or intended for residential use. If your LLC is buying a piece of dirt with plans to build a duplex, it counts. Understanding these nuances keeps you compliant and penalty-free. Are there any business entities that are exempt from the new FinCEN real estate reporting? Yes. Highly regulated entities like banks, credit unions, SEC-registered investment advisors, and certain large operating companies don't have to report. Also, transfers caused by death, divorce, bankruptcy, or court orders are typically exempt. For the average small to mid-sized investor, though, you should plan on complying. All right, let's face it, nobody loves paperwork, but the new FinCEN reporting doesn't have to be a headache. Think of it as a badge of honor. You're proving that you're a legitimate, honest investor that's contributing to the growth of New Mexico. By working with a knowledgeable realtor and a great title team, this process is just a few extra signatures at closing. Don't let the government skepticism keep you from building wealth. I'm Joshua Christensen with Christensen Properties, powered by R1 of New Mexico. Let's make sure your real estate goals a reality this year. Call me to get started.